That's the intro. That's it, guys.
I was not ready for
Wil
that
is here.
whatsoever. Now, Wil is back.
Wil is here.
Wil
Wil Staley, your favorite preacher's favorite preacher,
Come on, your favorite
is
preacher.
here. Okay, yeah, I'm sure you guys miss me and Brandon, whatever, but it doesn't matter. Guys, Wil is here.
Do you say that about, I feel like favorite preacher's favorite preacher? That might be.
I don't think he's ever said that because we haven't.
I've only said that when Wil was here the last
I was
time.
about to say he said the last time. And the
But I
funny thing
definitely
is,
didn't say that about Sean.
we don't bring many other preachers on the Preachers Hour podcast.
Not at all. It's very counterintuitive, false advertising.
You have enough preachers,
That's
you know,
very
between the two of you. So,
This is
you know.
very true.
Yeah.
You know, we try.
But guys, it's been a minute. Thank you for everybody who checked out our Live No Lies series. Got a lot of love on that.
Man,
We got to 200 subscribers on the YouTube.
that was wild to
which
see.
is pretty cool.
Like 200 people will see our content
On their feed.
on their feed.
That's enough for me. Honestly, you
That's
ain't gotta watch it
weird.
because that's one thing I never get about YouTube is that somebody will have 1 million subscribers and a video will get like 80,000 views, and I'm like, where is everybody else? Where y'all at?
You got 1 million subscribers.
Like, what is going on? What's the point? But
it takes them a little bit longer to get there. That's all. But they on their way.
But it's still a lot of our videos are watched by non-subscribers.
That is
Guys,
true.
just commit. I know your
Hey,
generation struggles with
Click the
commitment.
button, man.
But you're
Click
not.
the
It's
button.
not that hard. You're not. It's not. You're not getting married. We're already married. We're taking.
All of us are. Even
Just-
Josiah behind
Josiah
the camera.
is married. Everybody in this room is
Four
married.
married men.
Okay, just subscribe. Okay. Anyway,
Josiah just told us not to speak over ourselves, and we just spent the last first minute and a half speaking over each other.
yes. Anyway,
We have
so
no
I
etiquette.
was being good, Josiah, just to let you know.
First of all,
Just wanna
well, no,
let
he
you know.
did.
I was
pause.
following the rules.
yeah,
That man is a rule follower.
we are hard headed. He's in the Marines, bro. What you expect?
Oh well,
Oh man.
was.
So I wanted to start by just catching up on life.
Yeah.
Both you guys. This episode is going to be about, I'm thinking like rest, like the theology of rest, work and rest. And it's going to be more John Mark Comer. So I know we just did finish the
our
whole
boy.
4-part series on that boy. But we're going to get a sponsorship at some point.
Hey,
we be promoting
I
him.
feel like if we did push it, like he would see it and be like, you know what? On his Monday, because that's the only time he's looking at any social media, he'll be like, hey,
We're
who are
recording
these-
on Monday. So
Who is this guy? You know what? Subscribe.
yes. Come
I
on,
lose
James.
my head.
Anyway.
I'm like,
But
man.
yeah, how's everything going with both you guys? Will, you can start because you're the guest.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys having me back on. It's been a minute.
Been along.
The settings have changed.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like
They gonna
we've,
change again?
Yeah, I feel like we've moved on up, and yeah, it looks like we're in line for another big change.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully here pretty soon.
Yeah.
Have we talked about that? Am I?
No,
allowed
it's,
to-
you're
okay,
good.
all
No,
right.
go ahead.
I just don't
We
want
can
to
talk about it.
I
We
don't
can
want
talk
to.
about
Yeah,
it.
no,
Look.
it ain't my place to just put
First
all
of
of your
all,
business out there like
After
that.
you done
but,
did it already.
you know what I'm saying? I just said, you know, it's more to come. You know, every time, you know, I come on the show, like it's in a new scene.
This is
like,
true.
The next time that I come
Yeah.
on, we might be, you know,
This is
we
very
might
true.
have moved up.
Could be in
So
a different
just-
city or something. I don't know.
Folks gonna be like, well, they're gonna change again. The wheels on the pod, they're changing again.
Yeah.
Oh man, no, but I appreciate you guys having me on. It's been great even before we've gotten the recording going, just catching up with you guys and stuff like that. So I feel like I haven't seen or talked to you in like a really long time.
it's been
I
a
just
minute.
saw Jeff a couple weeks ago, so
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
really
we saw
care
each other at-
that much about him. Yeah,
we saw each other at Home Depot
Really?
for that brief second.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh man.
We was getting the installation for TG.
Oh,
And
yeah,
which is
yeah,
funny.
yeah.
Like, let me hold on before you say this, because I'm like, Will's a different kind of dude. So he calls me. So no, first patient calls me and like, hey, can you bring the truck to Home Depot? We need to pick up some stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. Then Will called me like right after, and he's like, hey, I just want to solidify some things with volleyball and photography. Like, can we make this thing happen? Sure. So we chopping it up. And then we hang up, and I'm like, you know, I'll call you back later. I get to Home Depot. I see patient walk out the door. And I see Will walk out the door. And I'm like, bro, you ain't gonna say that you was here. You ain't gonna say that y'all was together. You just gonna like call
That's
me
messed
separately.
up. Hey, you call him and then I'll call him.
But it was funny because I think Patient called me. Actually, no, Patient did call me first.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't answer. Then Will called me. I answered, and then that was like,
that they set you up for failure.
yeah,
That's,
I feel like that was sabotage.
I would hit you with
Hey.
a quick text. Don't answer.
Nah, he didn't answer for me either.
Oh man, it's not you. It's not you.
Hey, I just called him to talk about volleyball. It's just like that was.
He wasn't
we
thinking
had,
about it.
we had some business stuff to take care of. I was not concerned with what Patient had going on. But while I was there helping him, I just figured I'd get my stuff taken care of too.
Yeah,
Let's
you
go.
know, the last time you was here, you didn't have a daughter. Now you do.
Yeah,
You have a
yeah,
whole daughter.
Man, that has changed my life. And you know what? The worship pastor at our church, his daughter Symphony, he always says that she's like changemylife.com. And I always like kind of just laughed, whenever we would go to like new attenders luncheons or whatever, we would introduce our family. Like that was his thing. He always said that, like changemylife.com, changemylife.com. And I was like, no, legit, like having a girl has like changed my life. It is crazy. I can't even begin to explain like how it's different. And especially me, because I've been coaching girls volleyball for the last 10 years. Right. You know what I'm saying? I've been around like girls for a long period of time. Never thought in with one iota of a second that like having a girl would change. It has. I can't even explain it. But Lily Ella Joy Staley is she is.
Man, she all the way black.
Changed my life.
She is all the way black.
All the way black.
Say her name one more time.
Ella Joy.
Lily Ella Joy Staley.
She's from the South.
Yes.
That is gorgeous. She is so freaking cute.
She is a cute child. I ain't gonna lie. So, but look, can you give us the as much as you can how Lily Ella Joy came about?
Before he does that, only a preacher would say the word iota. I just want to make it clear. No other humans use that word in casual conversation. All right, continue.
I mean, it's the Preacher's Hour podcast. I feel like I had to bring it.
All the way preaching. All right, Doc.
No doubt. So, what was the question?
So tell us the story about how she came about.
Because it's crazy.
The last time you were on the pod, I believe that your wife was still going through chemo. Is that right? I think that's about
Sounds
time.
about right.
She's still going through chemo.
She was.
Now you have a child,
right, from
that wife who was going through chemo. Like
same woman.
Let us know how that transpired.
Yeah. So, this is luckily we got some time, right?
We do. Preacher's Hour.
Right. Yeah. No doubt. So last time I came on, I was still doing the tickety talk thing.
He was, and he was blowing up.
I was doing my thizzle.
TikTok influencer, bro.
With the TikTok, it became like way more that I could handle by just like putting out the content all the time because just like push, and so I had to slow down once like life kind of returned, but we were still heavily in the midst of like dealing with COVID and all that stuff like that. Yeah. So Alexis had finished her chemo in June, and the chemo had caused a medically induced menopause. So wasn't having her period and stuff like that. So we just kind of like at one point assumed that she couldn't get pregnant. The doctors had already like basically informed us before she went through chemo that like the type of breast cancer that she had is synonymous with ovarian cancer. Not synonymous, positively correlated.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense.
Okay, I was just going to say, Jeff is going to correct me.
No, I was not. I wasn't. You were safe.
Just waiting for that. It's positively correlated with ovarian cancer. So basically, like he was like, look, I know you guys are still young, but like once you decide to, that you're done having kids, like she needs to have this hysterectomy. Yeah. Like she needs to get her ovaries and her uterus removed. Yeah. And so, so we were like, okay, like that's a crazy conversation that we've got to have, because at that point we weren't even sure if we wanted to have any more kids.
Right.
And so, this is June, like fast forward, 6 months, she still is in this like medically induced like menopause. Chemo's done. She's still, not getting her period, which means that, her, without going into all the details of, how the cycle happens and all that stuff, like we can't have kids.
Gotcha.
Okay. So we are just like, all right, well, I think that, based on the doctor's recommendation, like we need to just kind of move forward with this, procedure of like having a hysterectomy. Right. And so, after like a lot of conversations and prayer, we decided to have it. The hysterectomy was scheduled February of 2021. The week before the surgery, she goes in for like her pre-op appointments and stuff like that, and like running all the tests. And the doctor's like, "Hey, I'm pretty sure you're pregnant." And she's like, what? Well, I'm here because I thought I couldn't get pregnant. And getting ready to have, this uterus and ovaries removed. They're like, no, I'm like crazy. Almost like positive that this. And so, yeah, sure enough, Lily Ella Joy was the miracle baby who we literally have no idea, because like she's still at no point in time that she ever, so we just assumed that, she was just not going to.
She didn't have it. She was pregnant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Bro, I remember being at AV in the garage, and we were about to pray for her surgery, and then your wife was like, "Actually, guys,
we don't have to pray for that.
We're not going to pray for that. She's not having surgery. Like, no, she's not having surgery. Things have changed. You'll learn more about it."
And
later.
she was super.
And
I didn't even know.
The last thing I was thinking was pregnancy. I'm like, "Oh dang, what happened? This must be really bad."
I mean, no. Even when she said it, I was like, first of all, this is the wrong way to give this information, because and then everyone else is just puzzled. We're just
it was like, so what do we do?
I feel like Jessica is really good for like awkward like delivering of information though. I feel like that's like her thing. Like she will deliver the information in the most awkward of ways sometimes.
Man, I'm telling you,
and be like, "Oh no, you just stay tuned. Please stand by."
To be continued, y'all. So we all right. So have a good night,
I
everybody.
will never forget that.
It was so weird, but I think one of the things that it did, like at least for me, like I was like, "Babe, what's going on? Like this is my brother. Like, what do you can't just like say we're not gonna, because you said we're not gonna pray for her.
No, stop praying. Actually, we're not gonna pray.
We're not
canceling the
praying
prayer
for her.
And I was like, I'm sure she could still, especially what you saying, not saying. It's not like she still needs some kind of prayer. We could just transition the prayer to something else.
If you just let us know what's going on.
Yeah.
She did not.
No prayer. Stop praying. We're just
So even
learn
afterwards, I didn't know. So she wouldn't tell me, and I'm thinking like, all right, like this is gonna be the worst.
I'm thinking the worst.
I thought the cancer was
That's
like,
what I was thinking.
Just it's everywhere. Like it's. I'm like, we finna bury my sister. Like this is crazy.
But then I'm like, the way she said it, like she wasn't crying.
She
wasn't
wasn't
sad. She was like, you'll see. Don't worry. And I'm like,
the Lord is doing a new thing.
what is happening?
So that was super strange. But at the end of the day, I was like, that's. I don't even remember how I heard of it.
Knowing it just all of a sudden they're having a kid, and I was just like, wow. And it was a girl, and that part was crazy. I was like, dang.
Will having a girl.
Yeah. So the other part about like how like changing my life specifically was that like when we first got married, I wanted a bunch of kids. Alexis didn't want any, and that like eventually changed 5 years into our marriage. And then once we had like when she got pregnant the first time, I was like, I do not want girls at all. I'm not dealing with girls. I always made the joke also, like while I was coaching, I was like, look, the Lord is like giving me enough.
I have
plenty of headaches to deal with. Like I don't want to have any girls. Like no Y chromosomes only in the house. We need an X and a Y. All right, no 2X chromosomes here. Right, and so like I felt like that even when she got pregnant like this last time. I was like, no, it's a boy. Like the Lord already knows. We
have an agreement.
He knows my heart. Yes, he's like, I will continue to serve in this area and deal with all these girls and his headaches if I, just only boys, right? And then when I found out it was a girl, I was like, what are we gonna do? And then, so slowly, like, obviously this is my child, like, I've got to love it regardless of its gender.
You on camera, so come on now.
And so, eventually I was just like, all right, we're just kind of getting used to like having the girl, but like just for real, like she's an easy baby to deal with, like, you know, which makes it easy. Like you said, like she is like adorable, you know, like she just got like, this chubby cheeks and all that stuff, right?
She be smiling all the time.
And then she's just got the most adorable smile, and then she's just like a really easy baby, so it's hard to like. It's like, man, I can't even be mad at you. Like, it's just like she was like sleeping through the night, like, you know, the first couple of like weeks that she was home. Dang. Doesn't cry a lot, like, you know, just takes her bottle, like eats, sleeps, all like the easiest baby that you could possibly have is like her. So she's like, she's hard not to love, but like even that, like, it's something different. I can't explain it. It really is like something different about being a girl dad now, and like I'm super excited about.
That's so cool.
About her, like her growing up, having her older brothers, like all this stuff. So
she gonna be well protected. You know what I'm saying? Like, first of all, Will's your dad. That's enough protection in itself. Yeah. But then you got William and Winston.
You got two William Arthur Staley.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just
goodness. Yeah.
It's like you got to go through me and me and me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna have to do anything at all. I feel like I'm not gonna have to do anything. Somebody told me this the other day at church. They were like, he said that he had siblings that were close growing up, and his sister would like come home and complain to her parents, like, can you stop telling our brother to beat up everybody who tries to talk to me? Sometimes like that's gonna be Winston, like all day. Like William, I feel like is gonna be more reasonable, and he's gonna be the voice of reason. Yeah. Winston's gonna be like about that action.
I'll hit you first, then we can talk. Why are you talking to her again?
I was just asking for a cracker.
Were you looking at my sister? What?
Oh my God.
Oh man.
I love it.
All right, this is gonna be a really terrible segue, but earlier you had talked about you being on TikTok and how it was overwhelming, and I thought it was just like, okay, looking at you at that time, which was only 2 years ago, basically, to now, and just knowing the changes that you've made in your life based on this book. Can you hold the book up?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man. Josiah gonna switch.
Oh, yeah. That's
perfect.
That's the one. That's the one.
Man. So this is the Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, which we alluded to a lot in our series. So Wil got a hold of this book and read it, and it had a huge impact on you. My wife started reading it a while. I feel like everybody I know has been like already read this book or started reading this book, and I got this book, Garden, which is actually the precursor to that book, and it had a huge impact on me. Like it changed my whole view of like everything. And so, just talk a little bit about like your life before, and then you read this book, and then like the things you're doing now.
Man, okay, so last year to talking about like the TikTok thing, like, you know, I if you go back and watch the episode, like my life has always just been like go. Like I've always just been like whatever it is that I can get like my hands on, involved in, I'm gonna do it. And then the other thing is like my life verse, you know, kind of is like Ecclesiastes 9:10, whatever your hand finds to do, Colossians 3:23, whatever you do, do it heartily as if unto the Lord and not for men, knowing from him you will receive your reward. And so I've always just been like, whatever it is that I'm going to do, like, it's just going to be like 100, right? And so like the TikTok thing was like, I spoke to our boy Alex, you know, who was like the
social media guru.
Yeah. And he put me on, and we had, you know, a conversation. I wrote down, literally took copious notes when he gave me the game for TikTok, and I was just like, okay. So I just like planned out like, okay, these are the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. These are the days that I'm gonna do it. This is like the music that I'm gonna put behind it. These are all the props that I need, like all this stuff. And I just went in for like a long period of time, and you know, did like pretty good. A couple of videos got a couple hundred, or not 100,000, but like 25,000, 30,000, you know, kind of like views on TikTok, which is like, for me, I was just like,
I don't care what nobody says.
I was just like, wow, like, you know, just couldn't even fathom something like that.
Oh, that's crazy.
And so like that was and that was like a lot. And the reason why I was doing it was because like, again, like it was at the height of COVID, trying to like, you know, interact and engage with students that I couldn't see, you know, personally, and was having a hard time with just like, let's just do like a Zoom, like, you know, Bible study. It's just like, no, nobody's got time for that. You know what I'm saying? Like we would even try to do like Zoom, like game night and get like 2 or 3 kids to show up.
Kids just drop them like flies.
Yeah, there was not, I mean, and so that was the reason why I jumped on it. And so, and that was like, you know, working like somewhat well, I guess, for a while, but eventually, you know, once things started to kind of open back up again, we started to get a little bit back to normal and stuff. It just was like, man, this is just taking way too much time. So I had to, you know, end that. But then I just jumped back into my routine of all the other millions of things that I had going on, right? Talking about, you know, earlier how we were saying like, you know, once you end something, like that doesn't mean that like that time is now like just free unless you mark it as free. Like that time's gonna get filled with something else, right? So I just got just as busy, you know, like afterwards. And so yeah, I just felt like probably a majority of people feel like on the rat race of life, just going from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, and then going to sleep and then waking up and having to do it all over again. And so the other youth pastor at our church, Michael Hammond, he's like my white twin. He got the book in October of last year, I think, and he read it and he was like, look, Will, you got to read this book. Like I'm not joking at all. I wouldn't tell you like you have to read it unless I thought you have to. Like you have to read this book, right? And I'm just like, all right, like just let me know, what is it? And so he gave me the book, and I think that like again going to like the audio book like consumed in like a week. It was like, no, this is and the whole point of the book being like slow. I was reading it fast, like it's kind of counterintuitive. Reading it at like 1.5 speed.
Your elimination of hurry was not ruthless.
Yeah. It was like, I'm going to use hurry. So hurry to read this
eliminate it, you know.
So
you know,
after I read it, we're going. That's hilarious.
Bro, there's another book. This is a segue. Sorry, there's another book called "The Greatest Salesman in the World" by Og Mandino, and it's a really dope book, really short, and it's about like, you know, the greatest salesman in the world, and they have like these 10 scrolls, and like the instructions for the book are like you have to read the first like 3 chapters, which are like the background of the book, and then you have to read each scroll. You're supposed to read it 3 times a day. And the third time you read it, you're supposed to read it out loud for 30 days before you move on to the next scroll. And I was like, no, I got to read this whole book first. Like, I'm not about to sit here and read. I ain't got 9 months to be playing around with this book. Let me just get to the end of this thing first, and then I'll go back and like and follow the instructions.
Good Lord,
man, that boy was ruthless.
That book changed my life too. By the way, that's a really good book. The dude Og Mandino. And so got Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, and then just instantly was like, I've got to change. And luckily for me, so one of the things, just like kind of like I'm really big into like routine and schedules and calendar and things like that. Luckily for me, like it came literally at the right time, because in like November is when like a lot of things like pick up towards the end of the year for ministry. But then like right after, like around like middle of December to like Christmas, like things really slow down for like a lot of time. And I get a lot of chance to like be alone with the Lord and like plan like what the next semester is going to look like and stuff like that. And so the book came at a really good time where like my life was just slowing down in general. And so I had a lot of chance to like meditate on a lot of the principles instead of just like kind of like getting them and stuff like that. So then I had a lot of chance to like, okay, well, how can I apply some of these things to like my life, versus like if I didn't have time because I was always like doing something, then it would have been hard. But like because I didn't really have a whole lot of stuff going on, I was already talking about like trying to like reschedule what the next phase of life was going to look like. It made it a little easier to start like applying some of these things. And so like the principles of the book, December of last year, January of this year, all kind of really like, you know, started to change the shape of like my life. And honestly, I can say like for sure that I feel like my life is better is not like not just the right word. There's probably a better word that I want to use than better, but it definitely has changed for the better. I'm like, I'm trying to use a word that's better than better. I don't know what word I'm looking for.
Better
but
is
like,
your best.
Yeah, I just feel like I'm I'm doing things better. I also feel like I'm healthier. I feel like my marriage is healthier.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel that that like the appropriate, boundaries and things like that have been put up in place in my life. And I just feel like I can like see and understand things a lot more clear now, I think. So,
Man, it's crazy what reading can do. Like I was just not, I'm gonna be honest,
It's
man.
so funny.
I just wasn't an avid reader when I was a kid, man. And I'm just like,
I feel like
I missed out on so much.
Well, I feel like society the education does not set us up to love reading because of what they're forced us to read.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of great stuff out there.
By a lot of great people. Like, it's not just people who are just saying stuff, but like people who like have been affected by the experience that they've had. And it's like, this has affected me so much. I gotta tell other people. Like, I have to do it.
Yeah. There's a belief in fatherhood.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like he has this phrase that he says, he's been saying it for years. It says, protect your life. And like, I feel like I finally understand what that means. He uses it in a sense of like, his main thing is like, all of us are married happily, I would say, hopefully.
Yeah.
You guys,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's happening.
But, and you know,
be happy tonight.
I'm about to have my, first kid.
Look, I'm just saying, it's a good marriage.
And praise the Lord.
Amen.
And it's like he's basically saying like you got to protect what you have. Like don't do something stupid to where you mess around and cheat on your wife
And you lose it.
and you lose everything. Like protect your life. And so that can look at in so many different ways. Like from the outside looking in, like looking at Wil, like to do anything with Wil was like you got to schedule it out very far in advance.
You
right?
still got to schedule out. But
But I mean, like
sometimes you'll make an exception.
a big part of it was like I respected him so much.
Yeah.
Wil is so organized. Like he's doing so much. He gets the most out of his time, right? But at the same time, you're like, man, I don't know if I could do that because of the relationships that I have in my life, things that I value. And so to see you make the changes for the benefit of not just yourself, but for your wife and for your kids and stuff like that, I just think like that's protecting your life.
Yeah.
And for me also, like getting older, 33, like I only have so much energy. And so I have to, I'm learning that I have to protect my energy level.
Yeah.
There's so many things I could do, people ask me to do, and I'm just like, you know what? Nah. Like there's not even on some lazy stuff. Like that's not good enough for me to spend my time on when I only have so much, I got to protect it. So tonight I'm actually going to hang out with my wife. Like I'm not going to, so it's just like protecting your life is really valuable.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Because the drawback is that you would live your whole life doing a bunch of stuff that did not matter. And when you're literally like laying on your deathbed, you're about to go, and you're just like, dang, I wish I'd have got more money. No one says that. I wish I'd have had more shoes. I wish I'd have had, like, no one says any of those like superficial things. The thing that you want most is time with the ones that you love and doing what God's called you to do. That's when you feel like, you know what? I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
So that is probably the main point of this book.
Garden City.
Yeah, Garden City. The subtitle is Work, Rest, and the Art of Being Human. And so he actually spends like the first 2/3 of the book talking about what it means to be human and what work is. It's a book about rest, but it's actually like, before we can understand rest, we got to understand work. And so you said something like, you realize you wasted your time doing stuff that didn't matter. That is a worry, but I think a just as big, if not a bigger worry, is doing a bunch of great stuff, but it's not what you were created to do. Like there's a lot of really good things out there that we can all do. Great stuff. But he talks about in this here, like we have every believer has two callings.
Mm-hmm.
We have a twin calling. We have a calling to make culture and a calling to make disciples. Now, the second one, everybody knows. Oh, yeah, the Great Commission, go make disciples.
Right.
But we don't pay enough attention to that first calling, which is to make culture. Now, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll talk about what that means.
Let's go.
Okay? That was a nice little ending.
That was nice.
Hey, guys, what's up? This is an ad, so bear with us. Don't skip it. Guys, we have a Patreon. We've been talking about it for a long time. We would love some more of your support. Okay, if you get anything out of this podcast, any gems, any like good information, knowledge, you feel uplifted and encouraged, please think about supporting us on Patreon. Become one of our patrons, man. We want to expand this thing, make this even better than it is right now. We have, done a lot of renovations out of our own pocket. So guys, like, please think about becoming a patron.
Yeah, because your support goes a long way. It'll help us continue to upgrade our cameras, our computers, our everything that we do here. But we literally can't do it without you. So if you feel led to, please support us through this platform and continue to support us as we continue to grow and give you better content.
Thanks, guys. Love you.
See ya.
All right, guys. We're back from our break. We are working with a lot of new technology.
Yes.
So we're trying to get it all together. It's dope, though. I'm not going to lie.
Please bear with us as we figure out our technical difficulties.
Paid for by our patrons. We appreciate you.
Yo, man, huge shout out to them.
Y'all
Like,
helped us get some stuff, man. It's
without
dope.
y'all, a lot of this wouldn't even be possible. So you see all this camera switching going on. That was you. So thank you.
Yeah, it was not like this last time.
Not at all. Oh my god.
What did we have? Were we cell phones back then?
Oh man,
Bro, we were using that
flip
really
phone.
terrible. No, it was that little camera that I had bought. And I remember like the first,
Oh my god.
probably the first like, I don't even know,
Bro.
30 minutes or so, the mic on the camera wasn't plugged in all the way. And so it didn't actually record. Our mics recorded, but trust me, it was a whole
Oh
thing.
my god.
That episode.
Oh,
is
so you
just
couldn't like
terrible.
sync it?
Yeah, I had to do some.
Wow.
I was trying to do that thing for hours. Anyway,
Where is that camera?
I use that at my job for filming for my girls basketball team.
We need to like frame it. So whenever you get done,
You can throw that thing in
take
the
that
trash.
thing and just put it in a box and say,
You can throw it in the trash. Anyway, so yeah, man, this idea of work and like twin callings. Yeah, what do you guys think about this? What are your thoughts on what does it mean to work? Like, what is work? What does it mean to like have a calling?
something that makes you sweat.
Facts.
So wait, work or calling or both? Like either one?
What do you think?
I don't know. To be honest, I've never really thought about it. I obviously haven't read Garden City, but when I think of work, it kind of takes me back to the Garden of Eden when humans got kicked out, and God says that like now you'll have to work the land. So I think of work as like anything that is going to produce something greater is going to be work. So it doesn't have to be like it sucks. Like it doesn't have, like work doesn't have to suck. It doesn't have to be like terrible. At the same time, it's not going to be easy. So to me, work isn't rest. And I know people who say like, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. That's just not true.
No.
Like, because I mean, you can love what you do, but
It's also not biblical. So.
not at all. You'll not always. It's not all like you may love what you do. Like, Will, you do volleyball, and I'm sure you love volleyball. But there's days that you're just like, I don't want to volleyball today.
I don't want to volleyball.
I don't want to volleyball. Like, I don't want to photograph. Like Jeff, I'm sure. Well, teaching is your calling, but just not in the way that you're doing it. So like, teaching middle school is not gonna bring you joy.
It's, I'm not gonna say it on camera.
So
Like you say it without saying it.
Fresno Unified, do not listen to this podcast. But it's like you get to the point where what you do and like why you do what you do overcomes the what you do. So like it may be not what you want to do right now, but you know why you're doing it. So it's work, but it's gratifying work. Does that make sense? It's not as bad. I think the same is with the calling. Like you're called to do a specific thing and you can miss that, by doing too much work. So you're doing what you think you're called to do. Number one, you haven't like talked to God about it. But secondly, you're doing something that it can be beneficial, but it's not really bringing you peace. So at the end of the day, like you're doing this thing and it helps a lot of people, but for you yourself, like your soul is not getting like what it needs because either you haven't consulted God on it or you're just not doing the right thing or you're doing the right thing in the wrong season. Whole bunch of other stuff you can put in there. But the idea is that you're doing something that brings you satisfaction, and that satisfaction has to come from God.
Okay. Well, what do you think?
Yeah, man, that's I don't know. That's a deep question. I think similar to Brandon, like when thinking about work, I just think about the garden and like by the sweat of your brow, you know, you're gonna produce fruit from the land in order for you to survive now, right? But and then I think about like a calling, like I just think about like, you know, Old Testament prophets, you know, who got like called by God, and they're none of I don't know, majority of their callings were not easy, you know. That was not like when looking at like them and like what they were called to do. Right, and then they fulfilled that like calling. Like, I'm confident that their joy came from understanding that they were acting in obedience to what the Lord wanted, and not necessarily like literally what they were doing. Because some of the stuff that they were doing was not easy. You know, my man's was called to marry a prostitute. Like that's a call that I don't know if I want.
And buy her back.
Come on, bro.
It's like, woman.
Yeah, and so I don't know, man. That's a deep question. I guess I never really thought about it. But those are the two things I think about when I think about work and calling. Like one is like, you know, you're gonna have to do this in order to like survive. The one is like, this is what you're going to do, and like you would get joy out of it, of being obedient to the Lord. And sometimes it's sometimes you probably are happy about that just because, you know, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Other times you're just like, man, this is not necessarily again easy, but you probably wants. Yeah, it's what God wants. You probably have a peace about like, you know, operating in your calling, whether like you're having a good time or like not like whether or not I want a volleyball today or not, right? Like if I'm called to do this, like I have a peace about doing it, you know, versus like work, and I don't know if you'd get that peace from work. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so. Great answers.
Oh, dang. We're all...
Okay. No, you're good. No, you're good. So
I graded your tests and...
No, I want to point out a couple things that you guys alluded to. So both of you correctly went back to the Garden of Eden, because that's why it's called Garden City. But I thought it was interesting that both of you guys went to the fall and after. You didn't go to the pre-fall.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
I live in the fall, so.
Okay, but it's important to understand God's original intent.
Yeah,
right?
That's a good point.
So there's this I got to read it, because there's this really interesting section of the creation narrative that we probably just don't even think about, we just skip over.
It's crazy, because I think, I don't know why, but most church, and I was talking about this with my wife the other day, and I think somebody else, and we're just like, the creation story, most of the time only gets taught to you as a kid. And then as you become an adult, like, you're just like, oh, I learned that already. But like, no, you didn't. So like, nobody went in for you.
So I think this is chapter 2. So it talks about him creating man and woman, and then he rests and he blesses the seventh day, calls it holy, because he rested from the work he had done. Now the Lord God had planted a garden in the east in Eden, and there he put the man he had formed. The Lord God made all kinds of trees grow out of the ground, trees that were pleasing to the eye and good for food. In the middle of the garden were the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. A river watering the garden flowed from Eden. From there it separated into 4 head waters, 4 rivers. The name of the first river is Pishon. It winds through the entire land of Havilah, where there is gold. The gold of that land is good. Aromatic resin and onyx are also there. Why is that in this part of the story? Why is that there? And then he just talks about the second river is Gihon, and and it goes through Cush. The third river is the Tigris. It goes to the shore. And then there's the fourth river is Euphrates. And then it gets back to the Lord God took the man. Why is this in here? You ever thought about that?
To be honest, I even forgot it was in there.
Yeah. Okay. Most people do. So the reason why that's in there is to tell us that from the beginning, God packed creation full of potential. So he's put raw materials. Tim Keller, I'm not going to be able to find the quote, but basically he says like, work is going into creation, finding the raw materials and turning them into something new. Like that's why it lists that little tiny part is in there to show you like, hey guys, from the jump, before the fall, you guys were going to work, produce things, find raw materials, build things, make cities, do all that was always part of the plan. It wasn't new, right?
I knew creatives were superior. I mean,
now another thing that you guys said was you separated work and calling. Both of you guys did that.
kind of.
You did?
We put them back together.
You kept them pretty separate. Y'all can watch it back and listen to the tape, dog. We got it on tape.
I'm pretty sure we put it back together.
But they're not separate. They're not separate things. Like your calling is like literally the word vocation. Vocal is in it. It literally means calling. That's what it means. Your vocation, what you do to work, shouldn't be different from your calling. Now, if it is, you may, like you said, Brandon, you may want to reevaluate what you're doing. And I said nothing about it being easy. Both of you guys had to make sure you put that in there, which is good. I'm glad you said that. This doesn't have to be easy. But our calling should be what we do. And then I wanted to ask you guys both this question. What does it mean? And I actually preached about this like 3 or 4 different times. I love this. Is one of my favorite sermons I've ever done. What does it mean to work for God?
That you will be prosperous and a millionaire.
No.
What?
What does it look like? What does it actually mean to work for God? What does that look like? Somebody who works for God, what do they do? What are some of the activities that they do?
Like specifically?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Will. I feel like you know this one.
I after the work and calling thing, I'm still trying to wrap my mind around.
I'm a little traumatized.
Yeah, I don't work for God. Yeah, again, like it's. I don't know if like I'm looking like too much into this or whatever, but I think about personally, like for me, I think about again like my life versus.
That's what I thought about too.
Like so, like there's I work for Campus Bible Church, right? So like there's certain like tasks that I have to do as a result of like my assignment for Campus Bible Church, and then getting compensated by Campus Bible Church. The same thing for Fresno Unified. There's certain like tasks that I have to do for Fresno Unified in order to get compensated from Fresno Unified. But like working for God, like it just encompasses everything, I feel like. And so that's why, again, like my Colossians 3:23, whatever your hand finds to do, you do it with all your might, like because you're working for God, not for man. So like what does working for God look like? To me, it looks like what I'm doing right now. Like, like literally part of this should be my work for God as I'm like looking at like that verse specifically. So like, I think that it encompasses everything, but that's, I don't know. That's like how I look at it, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I have to agree with my brother because, I feel like the ability to be able to work comes from God, and God is requiring us to give everything that we have back to him and trust him with it. So in that, if you are whatever your vocation is, whatever you're called to do, whatever work you find yourself doing, it has to be unto the Lord. I don't think there's any specific thing like, does it look like preaching? Because this is like the world's view of it. It's like, oh, if you work for God, that means you work in the church. That means you do ministry. That means you do something where you're talking or teaching people about God. But that's not all.
Praise the Lord that you said that, because when
Flesh
I
and
asked this
blood did
question,
not reveal that to me.
both times that I preach this and ask that question, most people say you preach, you work at a church. So what you're saying is 98% of the population doesn't work for God.
Right.
And on literally 1%,
Yeah.
not even 1% of
Yeah.
your church, less than 1% of your
Yeah.
church works for God now.
Right.
The rest of y'all in here living
So-
your best life.
That's obviously not the case.
Right.
Right. So he makes a point to say that everything is spiritual. Everything is spiritual. And he hates, I'll say what he said. He says, let's see, blah, 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 blah. And you're called. What you do matters to God a whole lot because it's your ministry. I have a love-hate relationship with the word ministry, which basically means I hate it. I work for a church, and so people ask me all the time, what's it like to be in full-time ministry? Or when did you know you were called to ministry? And I'm a bit sarcastic and I get annoyed way too easily. So sometimes I crack. When did you know you were called to ministry? But I'm a preschool teacher. So all the word ministry means is service. That's literally all it means. It's a very broad term.
Called to serve.
We've sacralized it and spiritualized it so much.
Dang.
Your ministry is your service. It's the part you play, the slot you fill, the place you do your thing to work for a garden-like world. The phrase full-time ministry is taboo in our church. Whenever somebody new comes on staff, they inevitably let it slip, and I laugh as our team sets them straight. Don't worry, we're nice about it, but we're defining the language police. So like this idea of like you're in ministry and I teach at Fresno Unified is stupid. We all are in full-time ministry. Whether you're an IT specialist or a stay-at-home mom or a photographer or whatever the case may be, we are called to do something, and it matters to God.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be preaching. It doesn't have to be teaching. It doesn't have to be working for a church. If you're not on staff at a church, that you're not off the hook.
Right.
Like, and that's the thing. We're always in full-time ministry, so you're never off the clock. You're never not working for God.
Yeah.
Right.
Whatever your hands find to do, do with all your might. And I think the crazy thing about it, when you said like it doesn't get people off the hook, it's just like that is literally the culture we've created in church.
Yes.
Where people feel like, nah, you
You guys are on staff. You are up here.
Yeah.
You are working for God. You're serving. You're doing ministry. We get served.
What is it? Even like on Sunday, Patient was talking about the Bible studies that we're going to start doing whenever we start doing them. And he was saying how like, don't think that you're going to come here and I'm just going to teach you. No. Read it for yourself.
Yeah.
Come with your own ideas. We will discuss it together and learn from each other. I, the pastor, will learn from you and you will learn from me. It's no longer this like, just come here. I'm going to feed you the word and then you go out there and like use it. No. We learn together and like everyone's going to do this because everyone is in service to God if you call yourself a child of God.
Yeah, but it's like we have to understand that the entire creation is God's. The earth is the Lord and fullness thereof, right? So that means whatever I'm doing in creation, and if I'm really, and he makes a very big point of like, you have got to figure out what your calling is.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be spiritual. Like if you feel like God has equipped you and gifted you to be a great photographer, that is working for God, period. And so I believe that I've been created to teach. I've been hardwired by God to teach people stuff.
Amen.
Now, what I teach, that can vary.
Yeah.
Like you said. But now we came on here to talk about this book about rest. So why are we talking so much about work?
Because you got to understand work to know what rest is.
So, oh man, in our culture, it just gets this so wrong. And I know both of you guys can speak to this because you've actually read that book. But like, the idea from the beginning, you work for 6 days and then you Shabbat, you Sabbath, right? So like, it's not this thing about being lazy because we are really not just called, but created to work ridiculously hard and then stop. I feel like people do one or the other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we don't have it. I know, and this is from somebody who does not Sabbath, and I want to, and I'm slowly working to get my life to the point where I can do that.
Right.
But like, and I can't wait to hear what Wil has to say about it. But like, we really have to realize that God created this whole thing for us to work super hard and then get actual rest to be able to go again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if I'm doing my calling, yeah, it's hard. Yeah, I'm exhausted, but I'm excited. Number one, I'm excited to rest.
Yes,
Which is something our culture does not know how to do. We're not excited to rest. Like, oh man, the whole time we're on vacation or on the weekend, like we're stressed.
It's on
like,
edge.
I got so much I gotta do.
Yeah.
You're not even actually resting, right? But then after you rest, it's like, okay, cool. I can't wait for Monday. I'm about to go out here and kill it. You know what I'm saying? So like, first of all, Wil, show everybody your cell phone.
Dang, he's gonna have him do it.
Yes.
Just gonna put me all out there.
This is when
Takes
I
a
heard
while to
about
get
this,
out.
I was like,
It barely get out.
now kids, you've probably heard about these.
This is a
Okay.
Some I don't even know. Verizon TCL is the brand.
They make
It's got a
TVs.
got a little camera.
Good night.
Kids, these
Yeah.
are called buttons.
These are.
I know you probably.
There's some buttons on there.
You know it's
Yeah.
crazy though. Like
If you've never
like
seen,
real talk.
you can actually press them.
If
like
my
they actually
kids
do
saw
stuff.
this, they would think it was a toy.
Yeah,
They wouldn't think it was
They
like a
wouldn't think it was a
legit
phone.
like you
They
can
wouldn't-
use this.
they probably wouldn't think it was a phone.
to communicate with people that
First
are
of
not
all,
with you.
I just
Yeah,
I
this
need
is-
to ask you just one question that's totally off topic.
Yeah, well, okay, go ahead.
Texting.
That's not off topic. We're talking about the phone.
Well, I'm just saying like it doesn't have nothing to do with rest.
Okay,
but
all right,
like,
yeah.
what's
get
it like
there.
to get back to pushing one button
Early 2000s.
3 times
Okay.
to get one letter?
Yeah, no doubt. So this is part of the. We didn't talk about this at the beginning, so I'm glad that we're getting into it now. But when I got the book, right, it just so happened that right after reading it, our church was going through our 21 days of prayer and fasting. I was like, this would be a great time to get a flip phone for 21 days and just fast from my smartphone as well as the other fasting that I'm doing and stuff like that. So like, why not just kind of like add to it a little bit? The first week that I got the phone, I think I might have got it a couple of days early. So I just like, hey, I went to the store. He's like, really, there's not really a way to turn it off and turn it on. You just gotta commit. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm getting a flip phone today. So was not ready for it at all. We had a volleyball tournament that weekend. I needed to communicate with coaches. It was all bad. The first week, I kid you not, like I was like extremely anxious, like anxiety on like 10, just because of the challenge it takes to communicate. Like I'm not joking. Like my thumbs were sore. Like the muscles right here in like my hands. Like the first week were sore from like having to press the buttons physically
And to physically press.
and then again, like the angst that I had about like I can't really communicate as fast or as well or as streamlined as I want to. Didn't have like all of the contact. I still don't like. John texted me today. I had to like look his number up in my old phone because I had to I'm slowly adding all the contacts in because I have to literally press out every person's name and I ain't got time for that. So a lot of difficulty when it comes to communicating with the good old flip phone. Like I said, like I got to press the button 3 times just to get to S and Z. I can't stand those letters. I can't stand any words that have an S in it. Successful is one of the worst words in the English language. And I'm trying to tell you.
Oh my gosh, that is funny, bro. That is funny.
So yeah,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
not the struggle is real with the texting on the flip phone. So, yeah,
Dang. It's funny because I can remember like there were like certain words that you could type and you just had to push the button once and like you would get like the word you're looking for. Does your phone have the capability to like predictive?
like the
text?
predictive. I don't even know. I don't think that it came with it, and I just automatic like even if it did, I think I switched it, but I haven't used it if it does have it. So it's just like I just go and it's so I feel it's so weird. So like some people who like I just and this sounds bad, but like some people who I like am like more comfortable with. I guess that's the good way to say it. Some people I'm more comfortable with. Like I'm okay with like abbreviating like everything. I'm just like I don't really care. But like some people I'm like, they might not even understand that I got a flip phone. They might think I'm super ignorant. Like I don't know how to spell words.
This your coach?
So I gotta like type out like YOU. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if I'm just texting, Jeff, I'm like you.
The
Send.
letter U.
TU. I had to press the button twice. Send. That's it. I'm not pressing the Y and then the
Let's
O.
go.
I gotta press the 9 3 times to get to the Y, and then I gotta press the 6 3 times to get to the O. I gotta press the 8 twice to get to the U.
Hey,
I ain't got time for that. You know what I'm saying?
That
Like,
boy is back in the 2008,
2006.
2006. Oh yeah, man. Before the iPhone,
I had a flip phone in 2005. Love that thing.
we had like the little slide
to
one.
hang up on people.
That did feel
Bow!
good.
Like that.
hey, that
Man.
joker is nice. Yeah.
That does feel good because like you
Yes.
get the whole,
Hitting the little,
or you
not
like
as
smack it
satisfying.
down.
Yeah,
He's
no,
like,
yeah, just
I'm
like
talking to you.
Like, yeah, it is nice to hang up on people. That is like a really nice feature of the flip phone. Yeah, and then just to like, I at one point I did have it where you like flip the answer, so that also felt good. Or I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like,
Bow.
hello.
Oh yeah,
But now sometimes
you got to screen that mug.
like the screen is like the other thing about like this. So this is like a really old computer, right? Like, and so like its processing system is like not up to date as like well.
got half a gig of
I gotta
RAM.
like restart it every couple of days.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
We are out of RAM.
It's got half a gig of
it is
RAM.
wild. Like sometimes like the screen freezes when I open like, so now like I've got so many messages that like sometimes when I like click the message, especially if it's like a multimedia, like a picture or something, like I have to like wait for a while. Like once I open it for it to like pop up, like it is like the struggle, bro. It reminds me, it's like being in a time machine. It reminds me of
Man.
2006.
Does it have Wi-Fi?
No.
Nah, come
No.
on. Wi-Fi.
No Wi-Fi.
Can't
No
connect
Wi-Fi.
to
This
nothing.
and I think that like I don't know. I think that you probably could get like like some upgrade where it would have like the internet, but like I don't have
You
it
don't-
on here.
don't need it.
I-
So
yeah.
so as I've read the book.
No weather, Jeff. By the way, also.
Dang. So he really
Just want
don't.
to throw that out there.
He has an excuse. I don't know what your excuse is. He has an excuse.
Look, I rely on Will to tell me what the weather is. So if he don't know, then I don't know. But I've read this book and it has revolutionized just the way that I think about I'm gonna be real old right now, but the hustle and bustle of like our generation today.
Yeah.
When I think about like my parents, and especially my grandparents, like they moved slow. You know what I'm saying? Like they just didn't really like. My dad had an urgency. My mom not really. My grandparents literally didn't care about time. Like they was like, if it's gonna take me 20 minutes to get there, it's just gonna take me 20.
Right.
I'm not going no fast. My grandparents used to literally go driving.
Just to go.
Just
for a
cause, not going
to go for
anywhere.
a
They're
drive.
just and they lived in Madera, so they just drive around the city.
Yeah, man.
And it used to be like, this is weird. Like you're just driving. Like where
Gas
y'all?
wasn't $6.
That's true.
So
That is true. But they would say like, I'm not sure. Like I'm like, where y'all going? We don't know. When you gonna be back? We don't know. That never like that. I can probably say it probably in America right now hardly ever happens. Everyone is so much in a hurry.
yeah.
Like everybody's trying to do something so fast and trying to get it done. And the crazy thing about this, the one part of this book talks about multitasking and how like that's the biggest myth of like this like toward the end of the book. And I'd never thought about it, but multitasking is literally a lie.
yeah.
You're just doing
You're just doing a bunch of stuff horribly.
very terribly. Like you're doing one thing and then you're stopping that thing and then doing another thing and you're calling it multitasking. No, you're doing one task because humans are only created to do one task, like to do it well.
Yes.
To do it very, very well. So
Right. Well, is it? Wait, hold on a second. I gotta jump in and say something because I think is it in the book where this book where he talks about the difference between multitasking and multi-focusing.
yes.
Yeah. Okay, so he says that like multitasking is possible because you can like walk and chew gum at the same
Right.
time. Like you can do the dishes and like listen to a podcast at the same time.
Facts.
He says what's impossible is
Multi-focusing.
multi-focusing,
That's
right?
good.
Which is like trying to do two things that require your focus and saying that like, oh yeah, I'm multitasking. It's like, no, like you're switching back and forth between these two like tasks, and you're not doing either one of them like very well at all.
And he was saying how certain things can become like muscle memory. So washing dishes, you've been washing dishes your whole life. You don't have to think about you don't have to focus on washing dishes. Now my kids, when they wash dishes, they need to focus or they're gonna break something. So they have to like, no, don't talk to me. Turn the music off. I'm washing this glass.
Or the other, I think he uses this in the book too. Like when you first start driving, right? Like when you first start driving, you cannot do
No music on.
Nothing. I'm not chewing gum. You know what I'm saying?
Bro,
When I first
the
started
first time I
driving.
drove on the freeway by myself,
10 and 2.
I was like, "Hey, why you getting so close, man? Hold on, man."
The whole lane over.
Yeah, like I'm getting there now. Hold on, like
Driving super slow. Because the crazy thing is you're focusing on driving as a main task, but you're focusing on so much because it's like I'm looking out for other drivers. I'm watching my distance. I'm watching my speed. I'm making sure that that I remember which one's the gas pedal, which one's the brake, because that's a very terrible decision. Like
I gotta remember where I'm going.
yes,
and know where I'm going.
this is before navigation.
Yes.
I think I got the MapQuest
The
directions
MapQuest?
printed out. I'm like, okay, hold on, like
where's it at? Yeah,
I got
You gotta
lost.
stop to like take a look at the map. Like,
pull
I'm not-
over.
Yeah.
Now we literally text and drive, man. I don't, but y'all do.
But he was like, yeah, now you can like literally drive to and from an entire place and then be like, how did I get here?
I hope that was green.
Right.
I hope that light was green, man.
Was that a stop sign? No, that wasn't a stop sign. I'm good. So so as we talk about like obviously the we just saw your flip phone, the dramatic changes that this book causes. One of the things that I've noticed is like the book is literally trying to it shows you the bad, like why being in such a hurry all the time is terrible. You just miss out on life. That's like after reading it, it was like being in a hurry makes you miss life. Like everything that God has made that is good, you miss it because you're trying to do way too much.
Yeah.
And then society or our culture, well, society and our culture, it almost like makes us feel like if you're not doing, then you're lazy or you're not
You're
worth
not
it.
human.
Yeah,
We have redefined what it means to be human.
just to be always connected.
Yeah, but against what God has called us to be, which is to be His image, right? And He spends a lot of time breaking that down in such a great way with the Hebrew and everything, and not just that, but understanding like an ancient understanding of what. There's one word in Hebrew for both idol and image. It's not two different words, right? So it's the word selim. And so the reason why one of the commandments is not to make any image of God out of something in creation is because He's already done that.
Yeah.
And it's us. And it's like in the ancient world, whatever deity you had, you would create a selim of that deity and you would put it in the temple of that deity. So people, when they come in and worship, they would know, okay, this is the deity I'm praying to. This is the deity that is here. He's a representation of the deity. The creation is God's temple, and we are the statues that represent the deity.
Wow.
And so we have to realize that, and then you look at the fall, and it's like God created us to rule on His behalf over all the creatures, and then we ended up getting ruled by a creature. And he makes this point that Adam was ruled by a snake, which he named. He named it. He had rule over it, and then it ended up ruling over him.
Dang. That's crazy.
Yeah. And so this idea of hurry and running and going trying to do all this stuff is just like, we're not doing what we were created to do.
And we're not doing it well at all. I think so. One of the things in this book that got me stuck for it.
You kept going back and back and
Bro,
back and back.
I couldn't get past the foreword.
The introduction, man. I was
I
like,
couldn't get past the foreword.
God,
yeah.
no, there's a whole book after that.
I feel like I've like memorized it because it's just like so good. Yeah,
It was
the
it was
forward is
insane.
really good.
So I'm just gonna read this first part, this first paragraph because I was like, dang, this is crazy. But it starts off this way. It says, the smartest and best man I've known jotted down some thoughts about hurry. I think they were posted in his kitchen when he died. Hurry, he wrote, involves excessive haste or the state of urgency. It is associated with words such as hurl, hurdle, hurly-burly, which means uproar, and hurricane. He defined it as a state of frantic effort one falls into in response to inadequacy, fear, and guilt. I was like,
Wow.
yo, number one, it says a state that you fall into. No one is born hurrying. Like when you were born, and even when you're growing up as a kid, hurry is not at all like a part of your life. You fall into it. And because like I pictured it as like falling off a cliff, like a never ending one though. Like you're just like, oh my God, I am still hurrying. Because you said even when we're on vacation, we are still in a sense of urgency for no apparent reason. And one of the things I love about John Mark, I love his honesty.
Yeah.
He says that toward the end of the book, he was like, it's crazy how once you eliminate hurry from your life and you start to schedule like the things that are most important. And he was like, he got rid of email. He got a flip phone, all these things. He only checks his social media and his email on Mondays. That's the only day he's going to check it. If he doesn't see it, he's not replying until the next Monday. And he said, you will be amazed at how many people get things done without you. And you will feel so much freedom that nothing revolves around you, even if you're the pastor.
Wow.
I was like, I want to get there. I want to be in a state where I can say, yo, I'm done. Like I'm done for the week. This is why I think Sabbath is so important. No matter what is going on in my life, which I got to try to reevaluate this because I'm doing a summer camp and I don't want to give up my Thursdays. I don't want to give up my Sabbath day. So I'm either going to switch it to a different day or just not show up on those days and be like, hey, find a sub. Because like I genuinely look forward to not working. It feels so incredible. And I can't wait for you to be there, Jeff, because you just be like, because the thing is you will not let someone take that time from you because you understand, number one, it is your alone time with God. It is your time that you can spend with the Lord with like almost distraction free. I mean, if you have a family, you can't really Sabbath from your family. Can you?
Well, the thing that he does and talks about in the book is he Sabbaths with his family.
Yeah.
So he's actually taught his kids to like look forward to it. They're like little kids, 7, 8, 3. They're like, is it Sabbath yet? Is it Sabbath yet? Like they're excited about it.
Yeah. And they did something like, I think it's in this book when he talks about like they make these like brownie type things, like a brownie covered in ice cream.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that number one sounds fantastic. But his kids can't wait to do it because they do it as a family. But they Sabbath on a Friday. So then it's like they get Friday.
That's when Sabbath is.
Yeah.
It's Friday to Saturday.
So they do the Friday and then Saturday, like they have that whole day free. Yeah. So it's just like we go from taking day off, chilling with mom and dad, having like quality time, no screens. It's another thing that's like huge. And then you go to Saturday where it's like you can do things. You can do it whatever you want. Like, and which I think is fantastic. He said like on his Sabbath, like him and his wife literally make love on the Sabbath as worship. I was like, babe, you should read this book. You should go ahead and cop this and read that. There's only one section that
just one section I highlighted for you.
You see my life changing. I'm just want to say this might help us out. But it's such a peaceful feeling, man. Being able to say, you know what, I'm done, and I commend you, Will. Like I wish I could. I probably can. I don't know if I have the willpower to do so, but to like give up my phone. Because that's like the biggest distraction. The problem is, it's a distraction that stays with you all the time. It's like I'm never gonna escape it. So,
man, he talks about it in the book. He makes a joke. He's like, the only time that you escape your phone is when you're in the shower. He's like, and eventually they're gonna have waterproof phones, and then that's what's gonna be the apocalypse.
Yeah. I stopped bringing my phone in the shower though. I was like, this is too much. I stopped.
Yeah. You started?
Yeah, it's waterproof. What you mean to do?
Facts.
I watch videos, podcasts. What you talking about?
Facts.
You better say that, John Mark Homer.
Yeah, but man, so we're over time.
Yeah, we are.
We could keep going because there's a bunch of stuff I wanted to talk about Sabbath, but maybe I have to bring Will back again in a different location,
man,
and talk about it, man. But Will, thank you for your time, bro.
Oh, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate hanging out and getting to chit chat. So it's an honor. It really is.
I'm telling you, you knock it out the park every time, man. Like we just learn so much. We learned how to be TikTok famous, the last one, and then none of us really pursued it. And then
We learned that it's not good.
Now we learned it's not good.
See,
and
that's why
now,
we didn't do
see,
it.
wait, maybe the next time you go, we might all have flip phones.
All right, guys.
All right, love y'all.
Man, it's been good. We'll see you guys on the next one. And peace.
All right.